Did you know that Volusia County's oldest drawbridge crosses the Halifax River at Orange Avenue in Daytona Beach? Hello and welcome to Volusia Magazine. I'm Amber Patterson. On today's show, we'll take a look at plans for the replacement of Volusia County's oldest drawbridge as it nears the end of its structural usefulness. We'll learn about another trails development, and we'll also learn about what's in store for the future of off-beach parking. And if that isn't enough, there's a new art museum featuring Old Florida. And finally, Community Information Director Dave Byron will be in the studio with his guest, Jeff Smith, Director of Volusia County's Fire and Rescue Services. Stay tuned. Progress continues on plans to replace Volusia County's oldest drawbridge over the Halifax River at Orange Avenue in Daytona Beach. Design is well underway on a state-of-the-art high-rise bridge that will double as a Veterans Memorial. The Orange Avenue Bridge, officially called the Tom Stade Veterans Memorial Bridge, was built in 1954, and it's nearing the end of its life. Thanks to an ambitious project approved by the County Council, the county's Public Works Department has developed plans and secured funding for a $46 million concrete arch bridge. The new bridge will offer improved safety, visual appeal, convenience, and fewer traffic stops. As a high-rise, the bridge will not have to be opened for passing boats. 2 fishing piers will be built on both sides of the bridge, and the bridge will be handicap accessible with charging stations for motorized wheelchairs. The project also includes bicycle and pedestrian accommodations, lighting, and landscaping. One of the bridge's features will be a series of granite plaques at 28 overlooks documenting the major U.S. conflicts from the Revolutionary War to the war in Iraq. Emblems representing the 5 branches of the military also will adorn the bridge. County officials also hope to develop a Veterans Memorial Plaza at the base of the bridge on City Island. Funding for the Memorial Plaza will have to come from private donations.
The bridge itself was funded through federal dollars, and it flows through the state, and they have to approve certain aspects of it. The Memorial Plaza is a little different. It's more of something we will have to fund ourselves. So it's something I'll be leading as far as continuing with that capacity. So if anyone out there is ready, we've already had a couple people. We've already had some pretty serious donations as far as moving one of the memorials from one part of Daytona Beach. Will fund moving it to this. So there are some people already stepping up, and I've already received a phone call where people want to, what can they do? Because there's specific things that people can help fund, and we can break it down so it's not just one big chunk. And also we'll be selling bricks with naming rights on the bricks, which is helpful. And we had someone step up to volunteer to do that whole project at no cost. So every donation for that will be a true donation.
Officials hope to begin construction by the end of the year, but they're waiting for a federal study on the impact of construction on wildlife and fish in the Halifax River. For more information, you can visit veteransmemorialbridge.com, and if you would like to make a donation to the Veterans Memorial Plaza, you can contact Councilman Josh Wagner at 386-679-5320 or jwagner@volusia.org. Trail enthusiasts are celebrating another milestone in Volusia County's ever-growing trails system. The $2.2 million pedestrian bridge over State Road 415 in Osteen is now open. It's at the eastern end of the rail trail, which crosses through DeBary, Deltona, and Enterprise, reaching the Seminole County line at Lake Monroe Park. A second pedestrian bridge over State Road 442 in Edgewater is nearing completion at a cost of $2.6 million. Volusia County's trail system has more than 23 miles of showcase trails and continues to grow at a rapid pace. This past year, there has been explosive growth in the county's Spring to Spring Trail and the Rail Trail. The trails are being designed to accommodate walkers, joggers, inline skaters, bicyclists, and people with disabilities.
Yeah, the county is continuing to build the showcase trail system one segment at a time. One day in the not too distant future, you're going to be able to travel from the DeLeon Springs area in northwest Volusia County down to Green Springs, which is where the Spring to Spring Trail actually ends, and then hop on the East Central Regional Rail Trail, which is right there, and connect all the way to Edgewater, on the East Coast, and then it also spurs down into Titusville. So that's going to be quite an achievement once the trail section is actually all built out.
The Spring to Spring Trail meanders through West Volusia, offering views of natural Florida. To date, the county has completed several segments of the Spring to Spring Trail, totaling more than 15 miles. When complete, the Spring to Spring Trail will stretch 26 miles from Gemini Springs Park to De Leon Springs State Park. It will connect with the rail trail. The 52-mile rail trail is being constructed along the longest abandoned rail line ever purchased in Florida. When complete, the rail trail will stretch from Deltona to Edgewater with a 10-mile leg through Brevard County to Titusville. Volusia County completed the first rail trail segment in 2012. The 5.7-mile segment runs from Providence Boulevard in Deltona to State Road 415 in Osteen. For more information about Volusia County's trail system, you can visit volusia.org/trails. And finally, Volusia County and the City of New Smyrna Beach are partnering together to begin construction on an off-beach parking site that will feature 70 parking spaces, restrooms, and picnic pavilions. This is a joint partnership between New Smyrna Beach and Volusia County. The county purchased the 1-acre site at 901 South Atlantic Avenue in 2012 for $1.1 million. New Smyrna Beach will be responsible for the park's design, construction, maintenance, and operation. The park is funded in part by a Volusia Echo grant. With an eye to future parking needs, the Volusia County Council recently approved the purchase of a vacant oceanfront lot in Daytona Beach Shores. The lot, which sold for $2.95 million, is nearly a mile north of Dunlawton Avenue beach approach. It covers 1.6 acres and it offers 210 feet of oceanfront.
There's always going to be a need, even if you continue to park on the beach as much as we do, there's always going to be a need for additional spaces as the population grows. Also, I think people forget that a lot of times, even during big holidays, we have times when people really can't park on the beach because of the tide. Or not only the normal tide, but also because of storms. Also beach erosion. We also have what we call the red sand coming from the north, making it so that you really can't drive because you get stuck because the sand's too soft. So the purchases that the council's making, in addition to this parking spaces we already have, is to ensure that there'll be adequate parking spaces available to the public close to the beach.
Last year, the County Council directed staff to purchase the Argosy Motel in Ormond by the Sea, the Jasmine Motel in Daytona Beach Shores, and the 3/4-acre lot near Hiles Boulevard in New Smyrna Beach. The combined price of just over $3 million will result in more than 200 new parking spaces for residents and for visitors. The county also partnered with Ormond Beach to buy the land and build the $8.2 million, 4.5-acre Andy Romano Beachfront Park, which opened in 2013 next to a no-driving zone on the beach. The county has more than 3,500 off-beach parking spaces from Ormond by the Sea through the Canaveral National Seashore.
Many of the items you throw out are not biodegradable and take centuries to break down. Reduce, reuse, recycle are separate but interconnected ideas that minimizes waste and saves money. The process is simple. The best way to reduce waste is to avoid creating it. According to the EPA, on average, Americans each produce over 4 pounds of trash per day. To help reduce trash, switch from plastic to reusable bags. Next, reuse items destined to be discarded. Get creative in reusing trash to reduce waste and save money. Finally, recycling takes items from materials that are discarded and turns them into new products. For example, plastic bottles can be recycled into carpet and benches. Many communities make recycling easy by offering programs such as curbside pickup. Newspaper, plastic bottles, glass, and pop cans are all recyclable items. Reduce, reuse, recycle decreases the amount of waste people create. Help keep our earth clean. Make the choice to reduce, reuse, and recycle today.
For more information on Volusia County's recycling program, you can visit volusia.org and select recycling from the drop-down menu. The CiCi and Hyatt Brown Museum of Art opened its doors today, giving visitors the opportunity to see a collection of Florida-themed paintings dating back to 1839. Here and Now reporter Kendra Lee takes us inside the museum for a glimpse at the collection.
An expansion of the Museum of Arts and Sciences, the CiCi and Hyatt Brown Museum of Art, consists of over 2,600 paintings, claiming the title of the most extensive collection of Florida art in the world. Executive Director Andrew Sandel walks us through the custom-built Florida Cracker-style facility that houses the Browns collection.
I think everything about the museum is different to other museums. I think it's one of those museums where people they're not expecting this much art, this much diversity of the art. And the fact that this isn't Florida artists, this is artists from all over the country have come and painted Florida and seen it with a different view.
CiCi and Hyatt Brown have been actively involved in the Museum of Arts and Sciences for years. The new addition has actually been 5 years in the making.
The museum really was an idea of CiCi and Hyatt's about 5 years ago, and they worked for a while with the museum to have this idea of bringing their art collection. CiCi's been involved with the museum for a long time, starting off as a docent here back in the early 70s. Hyatt Brown is, of course, the man behind Brown & Brown Insurance, one of the largest companies in the county. They both have a love of art. CiCi's always loved art. Hyatt has much more of a love of history. And in this collection, really, their interest is combined.
The museum features a cafe, a store, outside courtyard, and 7 different gallery spaces, ranging from 900 to 2,000 square feet. There are 4 small and 2 large galleries with changing exhibits. There is a large gallery in the main room that includes a mezzanine, which showcases the collection's signature pieces.
And we're a museum that shows a lot of history as well, and we think this is something that the community would really enjoy. So you come in to say the gallery here about Volusia County. This isn't just about showing how people painted Volusia County, it's talking about buildings in Volusia County that are still here, ones that have gone, about communities that were here. It's a way you can actually learn about the county we live in by looking at paintings.
Ready to take a piece of the Browns collection home? 50 of the Browns' favorite art pieces will be highlighted in their new book, available in the gift shop and online. Proceeds from the book will go back to the museum, and though this is a new facility, there are no limits on its growth.
Really not put any limits on what we can acquire. The Browns themselves continue to collect. This is still their passion, and they know there's a lot of paintings and a lot of artwork they would like. The Browns are very active collectors still, and who knows what they're going to acquire in the future that will get pride of place in their museum.
The CiCi and Hyatt Brown Museum is open 7 days a week. For more information, visit the museum's website, moas.org. For Volusia Here and Now, I'm Kendra Lee.
Let's head on outside with horticulturalist Joe Sewards as he gives us some tips about growing potatoes in Florida.
Hello again. This is Joe Sewards and welcome to Horticulture Today. Did you know that Florida is a major potato growing state in the United States? Florida ranks 7th in the United States in the amount of potatoes produced, and we are 1st in the country in wintertime potatoes. It is potato season here. The best time to plant potatoes in Florida is February. If you plant potatoes in February, you'll be harvesting potatoes anywhere from April through May. There are a tremendous number of varieties of potatoes. Did you know there are not only white and yellow skinned potatoes, there are also blue-fleshed potatoes and red-skinned potatoes. This is one of the more popular varieties, red Lesotho. This one is called Adirondack Blue. And this is a very popular variety that you'll find in grocery stores called Yukon Gold. These are all perfectly fine to grow in Florida, and now's the time to start thinking about planting them. We have a lot of information on growing potatoes at the University of Florida. The University of Florida is one of the leading research universities in potato cultivars, and there are certain varieties that are better for growing in Florida. So if you're not sure, call your local county extension office and we can help you. Don't buy potatoes at the grocery store and take them out and plant them. First of all, they might not be appropriate varieties for Florida, and they might not be certified disease-free. Seed potatoes that you get, like these, are not for eating. You cut these into seed pieces. Each piece should have an eye, which is a bud of the potato, and you plant those in the garden. And for every pound of seed potatoes that you plant, if all goes well, you could get up to a 10-time return. That means for every pound you plant, you get 10 pounds back. That's the maximum. Most people are going to get between 5 and 7 pounds, but still, that's a good return on your investment. Many seed companies offer seed potatoes for sale, and now's the time to order them so you get them in time to plant them sometime between early and mid-February. This is a welcome addition to most any vegetable garden in Central Florida, seed potatoes. If you have more questions, feel free to call us here at the University of Florida Extension in Volusia County. Our phone number is area code 386-822-5778. You can also go to volusia.org/extension and visit our website. For Horticulture Today, I'm Joe Sewards.
Let's head on into the studio to join Community Information Director Dave Byron and his guest, Jeff Smith, Director of Volusia County's Fire and Rescue.
Well, thanks, Amber, and hi, everyone. You know, among the most difficult decisions the Volusia County Council faces this year is dealing with the budget for fire rescue services the county provides in unincorporated Volusia County. Ultimately, it seems like it's going to come down to raising more money through property taxes or cutting services to non-city residents. Neither choice brings much comfort, but that's the picture the County Council faces when the budget season rolls around this fall. So in preparation, the county is holding a series of public listening sessions for residents in unincorporated Volusia County. Today we'll try to explain this funding challenge with our studio guest, Jeff Smith. He's the Director of Volusia County Fire Rescue. Chief, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, Dave. Thank you.
Hey, this is a choice that is going to be very difficult. We're going to try to explain what the situation is, but as Mr. Deneen, our county manager, has told the county council, this is a subject that the council is going to have to deal with, and that's the budget for fire rescue. And it seems like it's going to get down to a couple of choices, either that you put more money into it or you reduce your expenditures.
Yes, we're at the fork in the road, so to speak, and as the manager said several times, it's a we cannot continue to kick down the road. We've come to the point where we need to make the decision.
We've come to the wall.
That's right, sir.
Well, let's start with some general background, Chief. For those folks that maybe they're new to Volusia County or they don't understand, you know, how county is organized. Let's talk about Volusia County Fire Rescue. It's actually called Volusia County Fire Services, but I'm adding rescue because you do so much of that.
Correct.
But let's talk about your operation. You serve unincorporated Volusia County.
We serve unincorporated Volusia County. That's a landmass of approximately 980 square miles. We have 21 fire stations that we operate from. One of those is still volunteer down in Lake Harney, and the other is a co-location with Flagler County at Station 16 up on the north end. But we average this year 16,271 calls for service, and out of that 11,177 are actual EMS type calls.
Right.
So about 70% of our call volume is EMS. We do advanced life support. We also transport from the two bookends of the county, which are Oak Hill and Pearson. We find that we're able to get in there and transport the residents quicker and
Right.
return to service faster than waiting for evac to deploy out on such infrequent opportunities. We also provide hazmat countywide. We do wildfire operations. We are the county provider for technical rescue as well. And we provide fire protection at Daytona Beach International Airport as well.
And Chief, you know, I made the point, but it's worth just underscoring again. Your service area is the non-city or unincorporated Volusia County.
That's correct. Unincorporated area, which is about 980 square miles,
Right.
primarily rural.
That's right, and you don't get the density, if you will,
Correct.
the way some of the cities have. So
Right.
let's talk about the budget for Volusia County Fire Services. Around $21 million, am I right there?
22.2 million is our actual budget, not including our reserves, and our revenue is 20.6 million.
So the obvious question is, if you look at the overall county budget, which is $600+ million, your budget is 22 million, so why not take part of the 600 million and augment the fire budget so you don't have this dilemma of essentially raising taxes? What's the answer there?
We are a fire fund. We're a separate taxing district, so to speak, and because of that, the law will not allow county government to subsidize us. We have to generate our own revenue to exist on our own.
Right.
And a lot of municipalities have the whole pie, if you will, or the whole pot of money, and from that they can divvy up. They can take from this department and give to that department depending upon what the circumstances are. In our case, we don't have that opportunity.
So, is it accurate to say that your sole source of funding for the fire rescue budget is property taxes, and those property taxes can only come from the area in which you provide service, which is unincorporated Volusia County?
That is correct. Now we also go after grants.
Sure.
And those are very small.
Right.
We also receive some compensation for transport. So we do get some revenue, but it's by and large, the lion's share of our revenue is property taxes.
So would it be, again, and we're saying this for explanation here, would it be accurate to say that if I live in, let's say, Daytona Beach, I pay into the county's general fund, which is services the county provides countywide, I can't tax that resident in Daytona Beach for fire protection that they don't receive because they don't live in unincorporated area? Is that a simple way to say it?
It is, and it is exactly correct, and would be against the law for us to double tax them, if you will.
So what you're saying, Chief, is that you're running an imbalance between what it costs you to run the service and the revenue that you're generating right now with the current tax rate.
Correct. The revenue stream is not matching up our expenditures, and we have drastically reduced and brought them down as low as we can get them.
Right. In other words, you've cut to the point that you can't cut anymore. So either something's got to give here. I mean, that's what I see.
We've already closed 2 fire stations. We have modified what we're doing based upon our deployment model. We're past the bone. We are at the point now of asking which finger do you want taken off.
Well, Chief, let's say, I think you said the tax rate would have to be increased, what would you say, 45 cents?
45 cents.
So that would be on, what's the tax rate,
363, 3.63.
Okay, so you would add
45 cents on top of that.
45 cents to 363, and that is per 1,000 of taxable value. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now the other option, which is on the table, is if the citizens don't want to pay additional taxes, then I guess you're going to have to find a way to reduce your services to the point that they fit within that money that you have available. Is that a simple way to say it?
That is correct.
So what would you do, Chief? How would you get there to do that?
Well, our only option is to close 4 fire stations.
Okay. And I guess you would take the equipment and the personnel that are currently in those stations and parcel them out to other parts of the system?
Yeah, we'll redeploy from there. We wouldn't scuttle those stations or close those stations per se, or sell them or anything else like that. We would want to keep them for an operational base in case we needed to move units around. And we would still embrace the dynamic model so that it would give us the opportunity to use them whenever we do need them.
So if you close 4 of those, is it logical to assume that you may have some slower response times?
You will. Most definitely. We're going to extend the response times. We will lose 20% of our surge capacity whenever we have a fast-moving wildfire or an event like that. That really is going to be the biggest problem for us, is that extra capacity that we have to deploy quickly and to grab, to be defensive and get in a position to be able to control some of these fires. So that's going to be a problem for us. Response times are as well.
Now, I've heard Mr. Deneen say, in fact, he told the county council that, yes, it's logical to conclude that there possibly could be slower response times, but I've also heard him say that whatever model the county puts out there, it certainly can be done without huge jeopardy of public safety. Is that, I mean, what's your answer to that? Because that's going to be, I think, a key question for the public.
Well, there's always risk associated. The question is, if you are able to pay for the service, then that's the level of risk you're going to assume. And we are still going to make the best decisions that we can. We have the stations we've identified allow us to service that area from a nearby station, so we're not increasing the responses too much there, but there is risk. Let me tell you this, Volusia County Fire protects, every station covers an average of 48 square miles. If we close 4 stations, they will cover an average of 60 square miles. That's unbelievable.
Right.
I mean, it's really.
So where do the city fire departments fit into the overall picture? I mean, don't you guys kind of cover each other's territory when you need to?
We do. We all help out. We have automatic aid agreements with some. Some we have the mutual aid agreement. And whenever someone calls for help because they're incapacitated with an event that's taken all the resources, we always go in and help. And I expect that to continue. I expect, though, that if we do close those 4 fire stations, we will impact some of the cities negatively, and that's going to bring about some other issues that we'll have to address. But by and large, we were all going to continue to try to work together and do the best we can for the public we protect.
Well, obviously, this is a complicated subject. We're just now starting to go out and reach into the communities and talk about the choices the council's got to make. I know you're going to have a series of public listening sessions. What's the focus of these sessions going to be, Chief? How are they going to go?
The focus is, as you have said, it's a listening event. It's for us to listen to the public. It's also a time for us to explain to the public what's going on and what the circumstances are, and then ask for guidance, input. What do they want?
And I think you've got, about 10 meetings?
Yes, we have, I think the last time I looked, 9 scheduled meetings. I think we're going to be rescheduling another one, but yes, we have them set up primarily through the weekday evenings.
Right.
I think they're slated to start at 6 p.m. in most cases, and we will have our presentation available. We'll also answer any questions that the folks have, and we want a mechanism for feedback to come back to our elected officials so that our folks can make the right decision for the public.
For more information, where do we get more information again, Chief?
Volusia.org. You can click on Fire Services webpage, and over on the left side of the column you'll see the directions to be able to pull up the PowerPoint program and then also the meeting locations.
Obviously, this is something that's going to be ongoing throughout at least a good part of this year, so we'll probably have you back and you can give us a progress report.
Be glad to do it, Dave. Thank you for the opportunity.
Our guest today, Volusia County Fire Rescue Director Jeff Smith. As we said, the county will be holding a series of public listening sessions. If you want more information, go to the county website, volusia.org, and click on the fire icon. And with that, Amber, we'll go back to you.
Thanks, Dave, and thank you for watching Volusia Magazine. If you have any questions about the show, you can feel free to give us a call at any of the numbers you see listed here, or you can log on to volusia.org and click on the News tab at the top of the screen to find us. Incidentally, you can find the County Council's meeting calendar there too. In fact, you can use volusia.org to find out about meeting dates, workshops, topics of interest, activities, and how you can become involved. And we hope you won't forget to listen to Volusia Today. That's Volusia County Government's weekly public radio broadcast. Volusia Today airs every Tuesday and Sunday mornings on the local radio stations you see on your screen. For Volusia Magazine, I'm Amber Patterson. Have a wonderful evening.